One word: greatness. If there's one word that I would use to describe Tom Brady throughout his entire illustrious 22-year NFL career, it's greatness. After 22 seasons in the NFL, he was drafted before he even turned a year old. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. has announced his retirement from the NFL. What more do you have to say about him? The man even retired when he was still an MVP candidate. The final touchdown of his career was a moonshot to Mike Evans. This man still had years left, and he decided to retire. Usually by this time, at the age of 44, you're not considered an MVP candidate. You're not considered one of the game's best still at your position, just in general, the best. In that stage, you aren't seen as supposed to be that dominant. But Tom Brady, man, he was something different. What can you say about his career? Taken in the 6th round, pick 199th overall. That was a compensatory pick, actually, from the Patriots. He sat for most of his rookie year until 2001, where the starting quarterback, Drew Bledsoe, was essentially Wally pipped by Mo Lewis, and Tom Brady took up the mantle. And that Patriots team was absolutely dominant with him on it. They went on to win their division, a division that they would conquer for 20 years with him at the helm. His first playoff win was against the then Oakland Raiders in the infamous Tuck Rule game. And when they went to go beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC Championship game, and they managed, and then in the Super Bowl, with Tom Brady at the helm, winning Super Bowl MVP, they defeated the potential dynasty-seeking St. Louis Rams by only 3 points after being seen as 14-point underdogs. And his career would continue to blossom. The Patriots, during that stretch, would win a couple more Super Bowls against the Panthers and Eagles in 2003 and 2004. He was seen as a perennial Pro Bowl player. A great team with a great organization, a great head coach, and a great quarterback. After those 2 championships and cementing themselves as a dynasty, they would have a couple playoff disappointments against the Broncos and the Colts in 2005 and 2006. But in 2007, it truly clicked together, and the Patriots became the first and only team in the 16-game regular season to have a perfect regular season record, but would go on to be defeated by the New York Giants in Super Bowl 42. 2008 was a little bit... Brady broke the records for touchdown passes that year, as well as... which was absolutely historic at that level. It was something that his rival Peyton Manning would do years later. Then in 2008, he tore his ACL. In 2009, still getting back to it, the Patriots would reclaim the division, but then would lose to the Baltimore Ravens in the wild card round. But then in 2010, it clicked again for Tom Brady, and the Patriots were the 1 seed, and he won the MVP again. But again, the divisional round, they fell to the New York Jets. The following year, they made it back to the Super Bowl, but again, lost the New York Giants. 2012 and 2013, despite having another 2 great, unbelievable seasons, would end up losing both of them. But in 2014, the Patriots would start another dynasty with him at the helm, winning in 2014 against the defending champions, the Seattle Seahawks. After a year off, they would return a year later and would come back down 20-3 and would win in overtime against the Atlanta Falcons, where Brady would win his 4th Super Bowl MVP, which would break the record, if I recall. Then they made the Super Bowl the following year, where Brady would win MVP once again, but then they would lose in that classic game against the Philadelphia Eagles. They made a Super Bowl for a 3rd year in a row, the first in Brady's career, and the only in Brady's career, where they came back where they got back the title and defeating the Los Angeles Rams. The following year looked like it was over. It could have been over for Brady. And there was speculation after losing to the Titans that he would leave the Patriots. And that he did. And he would choose to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the 2020 season. And that year, Brady was, again, great. As his first and only time entering the playoffs as a wild card team, the Buccaneers under Tom Brady would be led all the way to the Super Bowl, winning 4 games and being the first ever team to host and win the Super Bowl in their own home stadium. Brady winning Super Bowl MVP honors again, and his team, the Buccaneers, having the most dominant win out of all the Super Bowl teams he's been on. And in 2021, which would end up being his final season, Brady had another incredible career, an incredible game, an incredible year in which PFF just named him their MVP, the highest wins above replacement out of any player in the NFL. Even this year, almost a week ago, it looked like the Buccaneers would come back and win against the Rams. Unfortunately, that wasn't meant to be. But even in that game, Brady was good. Not as good as Stafford, but he was still pretty good. But after 22 seasons in the NFL, 3 MVPs, a record number of 15 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pro honors, 3 Associated Press MVPs, a record 10 Super Bowl appearances by a player, most by any player, a record 7 Super Bowl wins, and a record 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Winning MVP in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, still being exceptional throughout that length, is unmatched. If that doesn't show the toughness of Tom Brady, I don't know what will. Yes, it does help when you've had Dante Scarnecchia being your offensive line coach for all those years. But at the same time, you got to give some credit to Brady. We will never, ever, in the rest of our lives, see someone like Brady again. A guy that has shattered playoff wins records, playoff appearance records, championship records, passing records, touchdown records, yardage records, reception records by a quarterback. What more can you say about Brady? If there is one thing that I would say that would make it even sweeter, is if the Hall of Fame were to forego his years of eligibility and put him in this year's class. Because if anyone deserves that distinction, it was Tom Brady without a question. Tom Brady is someone that everyone years from now will look on as one of the truly iconic and great, not just football players of all time, not just NFL players of all time, not just American sports players of all time, but one of the greatest athletes of all time in the history of the earth. One of the greatest athletes to ever play for any sport, period. He's got everything you could possibly want. Winning, records, MVPs, character, dominance, anything you could possibly imagine, this man had. And yes, of course the man was lucky. He was very fortunate for the fact that, especially with the Patriots, he had a great owner in Robert Kraft, a great roster, a great head coach. And even with the Buccaneers, he had that as well. And he also has been lucky to have quality kickers and also be fortunate to be on the positive end of a team blowing a lead here and there. And there are some times in which his team wins, but the opposing quarterback plays better. But even those moments, when the moment always is important, Tom Brady always delivers. He has always been that way for his entire career. And even though there are exceptions that he doesn't, more often than not, the man performs when it matters most and he delivers. Most people don't have that. And I'm not going to fault anyone that does. But this man truly had it all. He truly had it all. And he has beaten every single team in the National Football League. From everyone, including the Rams twice in the Super Bowl, as well as his former team, the Patriots. This man has more playoff wins under his resume than the vast majority of teams. This man, besides just his dominance with the Patriots, would collect another 5 wins as a starting quarterback with the Buccaneers. To show you just the dominance of how Tom Brady was for those teams, the Patriots for a long time were a laughingstock in the NFL. And even though they were dominant in the 90s, it doesn't come close to how exceptional they were and how they've been since the 2000s. And for the Buccaneers, the team that he played for the last 2 seasons of his career, this is the team that did not make the playoffs since 2007. This is a team that's had a long drought of being irrelevant and being bottom feeders. And in his first season with the team, they won the Super Bowl against the defending champions. And had a very good chance of defending their own title the year later. There will never be another Tom Brady. I will be telling my children about Tom Brady. And my children will tell their children about Tom Brady. And their children will tell their own children about Tom Brady. Because when you think of Tom Brady, you truly think of the greatest to ever play. You think of the Wayne Gretzkys, the Gordie Howes, the Bill Russells, the Wilt Chamberlains, the Michael Jordans, the Jim Browns, your Jerry Rices, your Babe Ruths, your Ted Williams, all of them. And Brady is among them. There will never be another NFL player. There will never be another quarterback. There will never be another person like Tom Brady. Tom Brady will always be known as an American and world icon for generations to come. And again, he may have upset the hearts of many others. But at the same time, this man was a competitor from beginning to end. And it's something we always cherish and what we want to see. But for the Patriots and for the Buccaneers, they were truly fortunate to have the best of the best. And while you can say that he was lucky, at the same time, he made good use of that luck and put it to his advantage. They will never, ever, ever be someone else like Tom Brady. Many of us may have wanted him gone over the years. But looking at it, truly is exceptional what he has been able to do. And I gotta say, thank you, Tom Brady, for continuing the popularity of the sport, for what you've done for the game, for what you've done to these cities, for what you've done for your family, for what you've done for everyone. Thank you for everything. And I'll see you in Canton when your year of eligibility is available. I'm going to miss seeing you. And I hope you have an amazing retirement with Giselle, your kids, the rest of your family, and all your future business endeavors. Because I feel and I guarantee that you will continue to be a success. And how you inspired so many people across the world. You are one in a billion, not a million. You are 1 in a billion, Tom. Thank you for everything, for what you've done for everyone. You truly are just one of a kind. And I would not just say that Tom Brady is probably the GOAT. Because I think in terms of a lot more than just play on the field, for what he meant at least for my generation, I was very fortunate to grow up watching you. Extremely fortunate. The fact that I wasn't even a year old when you were drafted. I basically spent my entire life seeing you play. My entire life. And I just graduated college. Just think about that for a second. This man has been playing so long that I just graduated college. There are tons and tons of people in the same area as me who never has seen football without Tom Brady. And even though Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback of the Steelers in Super Bowl 40, which was the first ever Super Bowl I've ever seen, at the same time, if I'm going to think about one player during this entire 2 decades of NFL football, it's going to be Tom Brady. No one else is going to come close to that level in terms of importance, iconicness, legendary status, greatness, championship experience. Nothing else is going to come close. Maybe Bill Belichick, but even then, truly incredible. Thank you. Just thank you for everything. And I just can't say it enough. Like, I think the writing was on the wall. You've been seeing him have more of these, a bit more open. You said he'd play till he's 45. Well, he's 44 and he's calling it a career. Like, he could have played longer, but, in many ways, it's better to retire when you're still good than when you're bad, because Big Ben Roethlisberger, he was getting kind of bad. And even though it was sad to see his career end like that, at the same time, he still had an amazing career, and I hope to see him first ballot as well. But Brady, I think if it's even possible to even forego the length, because this man deserves to be in the Hall of Fame right now. You to be that great and be that dominant, they should have been making your bust a long time ago, man. And again, I can't say this enough. Thank you for everything. For all the people that you've meant to the New England sports scene, the Tampa sports scene, the people from Michigan where you went to college, the people in Northern California where you grew up. Thank you for everything, and hope you have a great and amazing retirement, and I wish you the best of luck in the many years ahead. He could play in the Pro Bowl for 1 quarter. He can, but will he? I don't know. It's his choice to make, and I have no issue one way or another. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, this is emotional for me. I'm going to miss seeing Tom Brady on the field. I don't care. And I don't see him coming out. I think when he's done, he's done. But thank you, everyone that has watched this. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you still stay warm. We have a blizzard over here in the Northeast. So have a great rest of your day and stay safe, everyone. And best of luck in your retirement, Tom Brady. I'm going to miss seeing you play. Peace out. And God bless the GOAT.